I've always had this idea about starting a YouTube channel, doing YouTube, sometimes just for fun, sometimes maybe seriously to earn money, always kind of like as a creative outlet. I have many of those. It was always a bit of a on off thing. I would have some kind of idea of what content I want to create, get inspired by something, then look into what it would take, trying to learn the necessary skills, recording, editing, and so on. But I would always hit certain roadblocks. That's when I stopped. And then later on, I would come back and think like, what if I would try this idea, that idea? That would be awesome, right? So I've always come back to it, but I've always hit the same kind of mental roadblock of having a lot of fears of putting myself out there, which is ironically a pretty bad fear to have if you want to make content and put it on the internet. Especially the thought of recording myself and just uploading that. A lot of fears being accompanied by that. So I thought, okay, why not create an entire channel just for the intention of practicing that. No expectations, no nothing, no overthinking it. Normally, if I would start something like this, like a new channel, I would think about, okay, what are all the things I have to do, all the things I have to consider, need to prepare, need to look at other people, what they are doing, how their content looks like, what I could improve on, how I could stand out, so on and so on. When I would make a video, I would completely overthink it from start to from beginning to end. I would put way more hours into it, trying to perfect it, trying to get everything out of it, even though my skills aren't nearly anywhere near a professional level, which would mean that I would be better off just putting out more videos, practicing more in order to get better and not to get stuck on one video that's gonna be mediocre at best anyway, because my skill set isn't as evolved yet. And because I went through this loop of, I want to make this YouTube channel. Oh, okay, let's look at it. What I have to do, how would success there look like, and so on and so on. Overcomplicated process, and then ultimately just stop after a couple of videos, if I even manage to put out some videos. That's why I thought, okay, in order to overcome my fear, the fear that's always stopping me in the end of, oh no, if I upload this, what do people think of me? To overcome this fear, I thought I have to look it straight into the eye and just face it. My biggest fear would always be that I upload something, put up my face out there, say something stupid, and then I would have to live with that for the rest of my life. And people would make fun of me, and so on and so on. The usual, somewhat irrational fear that often arises from a natural point of basic survival shit, and so on. You probably know what I mean. And because I got frustrated that I ran into the same issues again and again, being stopped by my fear, I thought, okay, let's change the paradigm. Let's just stop and throwing my head against the same wall again and again, hoping that I would break through it someday. Take a step back and look where the door through that wall is actually at. And I think it's right here. The idea is that I just take my biggest fear of recording myself and do it. Because that's something that I noticed, especially in the last couple of years, that every time I took this step out of my not just comfort zone, but going the extra mile to do the things that I somewhat dream about, but never actually had enough courage to do. That every time I did that, I had some kind of major breakthrough of sorts. Some sort of development where I got stronger out of it. And I would love if I could do this with this channel too. I've always wanted to do some kind of self-improvement and or philosophy channel. Even thought about mixing the two. But I don't want to get too hung up on the idea of improving myself at every cost imaginable. This very forced approach to, oh, if I'm not perfect today, tomorrow, every day, my life is bad, I should feel bad, and so on. Putting my self-esteem, my self-worth on my productivity, which, as I can say from experience, is a great way to become miserable. And that's why I thought I still want this general idea of self-improvement to be a part of my life, but in a more healthy and sustainable way. And that's why I've always dreamt about creating this channel right here, Healthy Self-Improvement. But as I already said, I would think about, oh no, how would I have to make this channel? What kind of identity should it have? How should the videos be structured, made, and so on? But now I want to take the different approach. I want to actually put in the work that I need to get this channel to where I would someday wish it to be. But not in a forced, oh, if I don't do this perfectly, I should be miserable way. But more in a, okay, let's just try it. And have fun. And more sustainable way. Like this, like taking one step where I feel the fear right in front of me through all of my body and face it one step at a time. And these steps would include creating this series of, I don't know, just uploading some random videos of me rambling about any kind of topic and with like no effort put into them, at least for my self-imposed standards. And I hope that through taking this first step, I can actually get closer to my goals without punishing me every step along the way. And that for me is what healthy self-improvement is about. If perchance you're some internet stranger watching this, then shout out to you, you're a real one. But even if this doesn't get any views, I honestly wouldn't care. It actually would be kind of liberating because, again, my biggest fear would be like going out there saying something, anything stupid with my face attributed to it, and then having some kind of life sentence of people taking it out of me for the rest of my life. But if I find out that when I just shout into the mass, almost like if you would shout in the city center, just shout at all the people there, and maybe some would mind, of course some would mind, but probably most would just go on with their business and don't care that much. And that can be incredibly liberating, at least for me. So that is what I want to do. I just want to say my piece into the crowd and notice that nobody cares. At least not in a way that my nervous system makes me feel that people do. And that's great. That's what I want to do. I want to upload these kinds of videos until I've learned that lesson, not just on a theoretical level, but on a very real level of my body, that I can just pick up the camera, talk into it, without having my heart rate go up, my chest clench, my gut feeling like it breaks. I just want to have fun. I want to share my pieces of thoughts. I have a lot of them. So, if you want to hear about those, you can give the channel a subscribe. But if not, that's fine too. And always remember, keep your head up. Love you.